Hundreds of them.
Good morning, it's March the 11th, 2025, and I'm headed south to Monroe State Forest to hike the Low Gap Trail and spend the night out. So this will be my first backpacking trip of the year, first camping trip of the year. So the weather's supposed to be around 70 or 72 degrees. The low tonight is, I think they said 43 or 44, something like that. So I'm looking forward to it. Just kind of been watching the weather forecast to see when the weather might warm up a little bit. January and February we had quite a bit of really cold weather, but anyway, I've just been looking forward to a chance to get out and just do a little bit of hiking and relax and just kind of get out. So got about another probably half-hour drive or so, and we'll see when we get down there. So I'm parked up here at the Low Gap trailhead. So we're going to hike down this trail here. What is it, 6, 7, 8, and cross Low Gap Road. Usually, and then this area back here is called the backcountry, and this is where you're allowed to disperse camp. Usually when we come in here, we, most of the time, we'll park here and then hike back in here. And that's like a half or a 30-minute hike to get back into here. Down in here, there's a little creek that runs through here, and then you can come up on these ridge tops. The other times, this is considered part of Low Gap, but it's also considered part of the Tecumseh Trail. So we'll usually park up here, and there's like a forest road, gravel road. There's some private properties. We usually hike down through here and hike on out to here, and then go on out that way, and that goes down to Bear Lake. And that's really kind of the beginning of what they consider the Tecumseh Trail, which is about 50 miles down into further down into southern Indiana, kind of around Brown County and Bean Blossom and down in there. So my plan is to I didn't want to park down in here because I wanted to do a little bit longer hike, and I haven't been on this section of the trail for, like I said, probably about 10 years. So I'm going to plan on hiking up and down in through here and camping somewhere down in here. But it's just a gorgeous day. It's probably in the 60s right now. There are a few people out. I don't know, some lady already came back just while I was sitting here. But it's just a gorgeous day out, and like I said, the temps are going to be in the 70s today and 40s tonight. It's just going to be perfect. So let's do it. All right, we're going to keep trying. My GoPro keeps shutting off with an SD card error, and I fiddled with it for about 20 minutes. Here's the bike trail I was speaking of. And I didn't have any trouble with it on the Laurel Highlands Trail, and the only thing different I know is I got a new corded mic to plug into the USB port, which is right next to the SD card slot. So I unplugged that mic, and we'll see how it goes. You can kill a lot of time fiddling with this stuff that you get out here to try to get away from all the technology and the gadgets and everything, and then you bring half of them with you. So I really wanted to try to video this hike, not because there's really anything that interesting, but the last video I did was Laurel Highlands with Laura last October, and the video was really crappy. And it was just real herky-jerky. And part of that is I have, just because of the tremors I have in my hand, but I mean, it was even worse than that. And I think what I discovered was I had inadvertently set my camera settings to video in 4K, and with this version of GoPro, if the video is set to 4K, the maximum frame rate is only 15 frames a second, which is pretty slow. So I just really wanted to get the GoPro out and work with it. So right now this is 1080 at 30 frames per second. And so far it's still recording without the mic plugged in. With the mic plugged in, it would only record for like 5 seconds and then get a card error, and then it was hard to get shut off. But anyway, we're gonna see how it goes. It's just a beautiful day. And a little windy, but otherwise pretty nice. So we'll carry on. I think Rock Shelter Trail, this is where I would have come out if I would have continued on going the wrong direction out of the car. I think there's some rock overhangs down there. I've never been down that way, but I might go that way on the way back, because it's really not that much of an extra hike, because it didn't take me long to get down here, maybe 20 minutes. And since I disconnected the microphone, I haven't had any issues with the GoPro. So when we get down the low gap road into that parking area, I'll probably take a break, and I got some ideas on what to do for it. So yeah, anyway, carry on. I don't know if you can hear this or not. I think it's a bunch of frogs in this little pond over here. Probably when I get up there close though. Yeah. It's crazy. I could hear them back over there on the trail. Oh, you can see, I don't know if those are turtles out there. Holy crap. They're on the surface of the water. I'm not going to get any closer because I spook them. I think they're still in the tadpole stage, it looks like. huge. Maybe not. It's hard to say. We're not much more beyond the tadpole stage. Oh, I can see their legs. Hundreds of them. Crazy. Apparently haven't been paying much attention because I've been hiking down this, what used to be an old road, it looks like, and then I come up on this crossing. It looks like the trail actually crosses here. Shouldn't be getting too far from Low Gap Road where that other parking area trailhead is. We're gonna take a break. Low Gap Road. It's been about 2.25 miles and been on the trail just a little over an hour. And let's see, I don't see any cars down there. We're going to find a place to get the pack off and sit down and have a little bit of lunch and fiddle with the camera. So yeah, this is where we usually are used to park a lot. It's when Doug and I were both working and we just had to come down here on a Friday night, and so we were more interested in just the camping than necessarily putting in miles. But so we're now officially in the backcountry. There are some campsites right up along here. Of course, I'm not going to stay there, too close to the road. We have seen come in here and people come in here and have big party tents and stuff. Of course, it's close to where they can bring their coolers of beer and everything else in. And so I'm gonna see if I can find a place down here that's maybe got a nice log, or I don't know, not really any good place right here. So we're gonna hike a little further. There's another bridge down here. May just stop down there. Okay, here's where it starts to get serious. Got a big hill to climb up, to hike up. Once we get to the top, though, it'd be pretty, it'd be flat. It's flat on top for a ridge, and then it goes down into that valley where the creek is. So really only one big climb to do. So might as well just get started. Almost to the top. Let's see, according to Garmin, 230 feet, and probably got another, I don't know, 20 feet, so 250 feet elevation climb from when I started. There was a little plateau in the middle. I'm pretty sure the trail, because they mark all these fresh blazes, I guess they didn't want people to get lost. I mean, you can look up there, they're all over the place at just about every 50 feet. The trail kind of winds down around the side of this ridge. I'm pretty sure the trail used to come right up on top of the ridge, right up through here. Why they decided to move it, I don't know. I would have thought you know, that part's eroded and getting tracked up enough that why would you cut another trail to 20 years from now be the same way? But what do I know? So there's used to be a campsite right at the top of the hill. I think we camped here once. There's no water up here though. And I think at one time I've seen people camping out in there on the ridge. I've never actually walked back there. I may check it out tomorrow on the way out. Maybe, maybe not. It looks like there's a lot of trees down up here. I don't know why they have two blazes. I'm assuming one's for the Low Gap Trail and one's for, who knows, Tecumseh Trail maybe. But then that one only has one. And that one up there only has one. So, I'm not sure what the diamond's for. There's a diamond over there now. Yeah, this is a pretty nice place to camp up here. If you had a group and you had your own water and everything. And I think there's a little trail that kind of goes back in there around the point. Man, I'm gassed. That's what I get for sitting around all winter watching YouTube videos instead of getting out and making them. We watch several YouTube channels routinely. Some of them are homesteading, some of them are hiking. We've watched several. Last couple 2 or 3 years, followed people on that have hiked the Appalachian Trail, and that's great. But to sit around on your phone or your TV and do that, it's addicting. And you can wrap up so much time watching other people get out and live life that you kind of miss out on getting out and living it for yourself. So you kind of just live life vicariously through other people instead of getting out and experiencing it. So that's my soapbox for today. I'm sure there's others in the back of my head, but probably don't want to hear them. Later. I have to watch what I'm doing here. Those leaves are slippery. I have my feet start to slide out from under me on a couple occasions. But I'm coming down into the valley here where the campsites are. I think we gotta go down there and just go down another little descent, and I think we'll be down there. So then there's probably maybe a quarter of a mile of trail that runs right along that creek. We're pretty close to the creek, and there's campsites on both sides, and if you keep going then it goes back up the hill, and there's also a site up there on the ridge top after you go all the way through this valley and start climbing out. But I thought once that with the stars and the clear sky and the moon the way it is, it might be nice to be up on top of a ridge, but I'm not sure, since there's no tree cover, if it would really matter whether I was in a valley or not. So I don't know. I may just kind of take an inventory of what's down here and then hike on out the other side. I would have to come back and get water if I was to camp on that ridge. So we'll meet you down there. So I think this is it. There was the trails over that way. There's a campsite over there just off the trail, and we've camped there before, Doug and I. And it was pretty flat and clean, but there was no fire ring there. It's like they came in and cleared it out. I don't know if it's because I know there's kind of a rule about being 100 or 150 feet off the trail when you camp. Probably most people don't really abide by that because there's some sites on it that I passed up there that were just right off the trail. But this is a little bit further back. And there's a nice little fire ring here and some blocks of wood to maybe make a table to cook off of. And the creek is over there probably, I don't know, 100 yards. So it's close enough, and I most likely only have to make one trip over there to fill up water. So I don't know what time it is. I don't even remember what time I left the car. Well, I sent Joe. Let's see, I sent Joe where the car was at 11:46. It's 3 o'clock now, so 3 hours 15 minutes. And let's see what the Garmin says for mileage. 4.4 miles. Moving time 2 hours and 20 minutes. And the stop time was 40 minutes, which is about right. That'd be about 3 hours. But I killed a lot of time farting around with the cameras. You stop and video that stuff. I think we watch those hiking videos on YouTube where people, have videos of themselves walking down the trail and crossing creeks and all that stuff, and some of them from a distance. And you don't stop to realize that if they're doing all their own filming, they've had to set up the camera and then go over there and stage them while doing whatever they're doing, and then come back and get their camera. And you can kill a lot of time doing that kind of stuff. Also just noticed there's a nice little bundle of tinder there to get a fire started, and there's plenty of stuff down here that I can have a decent fire tonight. So I'm just going to get my chair out and kick back and air my feet out a little bit and relax. Maybe have a snack or two and get my tent set up and go from there. See ya. Just sitting here kind of looking around. Nice breeze blowing through here. I think it's going to get kind of cool in here because I'm kind of in the shade now. Still don't have my tent set up, but I happened to look up thinking about the trees, and I just happened to look up. That's why I hate camping under pine trees. There must be 100 widowmakers up there. And I've had, John and I were down at Hoosier National one year, and it was super windy. The pine trees were just blowing so much they were whacking each other, and they were knocking limbs out. We were in hammocks, and I had 2 different occasions, 2 different times, I had one of those limbs fall and speared right through my hammock and stuck into the ground. Left a pretty nice holes in the tarp. I mean, in the tarp, not the hammock. Luckily I wasn't in it, but that night we just laid there and the wind blew real hard, and you just kind of slept all night with your arms up over your head waiting for the next limb to come down and take you out. So I might, I'm not sure. There's just, man, there's so many of them. I might put my tent a little bit further over there. There's at least get out from under the pines a little bit and still be here. Food for thought. Okay, it's time to go get water. Thinking I can get out there. It's a little bit deeper. I already got my filter attached, so I'm going to try and keep it out of the dirty water. I'm not sure this was a great idea or not, attaching it ahead of time. Oh crap, I forgot my my little dipper bottle, so I'll have to take this filter off. I got a little bottle, or a little cut off Gatorade bottle that I use as a dipper. But I'm not gonna be able to do that. I'll go back up there. I think I can just dip this. These bags are nice. With the Sawyers, one of the biggest complaints are those chintzy bags that come with them, that just have a little spout that size on them that you cannot get water into very easily. So what I'm going to do here, I can waste some water here, so I'm going to go ahead and try to. Now, one thing I didn't do, the Sawyers can become kind of airlocked, I guess, where they can get air in them after they dry out, and it takes them a while to get flowing. So people recommend to soak the filter before you head out on the trail, and I did not do that. So it may take a little bit to get this thing going. But once it gets wet inside the filter, it usually starts going pretty well. You just gotta be a little patient with it. I may just take it back up there and hang it, because I'm not going to stand here and squeeze this thing for 20 minutes. Alright, let's see how it goes. Just trying to keep the dirty water out of the Nalgene. Looks like it's going pretty well. I usually just hang the bag up if the filter's has been wet down enough that it flows pretty freely. I'll just hang the bag up and just use it as a gravity feed filter. See, it's running pretty good now without even squeezing it. And then if you're base camping, that's plenty good enough, because it's not like you're wanting to hit the trail, get on down the trail. If you're if you're hiking with this and you're having to get water, just stop and get water to get through the day of hiking. You're obviously not going to want to sit there and let it gravity feed, because it is kind of slow, but you're going to want to do the squeeze part of it. but I just kind of like to get the water I need and get back up there to the camp. Okay, I'm going to finish this and meet you back up to camp. So it's dinner time. It's a little after 7. So what I'm having, this is kind of one of my favorite freezer bag meals. So this is one of the deals where you put your stuff in the freezer bag, put some water, boiling water in there, put it in a little cozy. So this is the Knorr, however you pronounce it. This one is the chicken and broccoli. And this is one of my favorite ones. I've tried the other Knorrs. This has pasta in it, but I think it's like the vermicelli or basmati. It's got long grain rice and vermicelli, which is a much smaller. It's a much smaller pasta. It's like real short, thin pieces of spaghetti, and it seems to rehydrate pretty well just in the bag with boiling water. If you get the ones that have the bigger pasta, like the shells and the macaroni, the big macaroni and stuff, they just don't rehydrate well. It's just putting them in putting boiling water on top of them is just not quite enough to cook them through. But this one is pretty good. So this is the chicken and broccoli, chicken flavor with broccoli. But what I do is I get a little packet of the white chicken and add to it. And I always mark. One thing we found out about the cooking bags like this is they don't take quite as much water as what the packet says, because if the packet intends for you to boil this in a pot, and so you boil off some water when you're cooking it on the stove in the conventional method. When you put it in here, you're not boiling off any water, so you don't need to add quite as much. If you add what the packet says, it's going to turn out really runny. So this calls for 2 cups of water, and I marked my bag with how much I want to put in there ahead of time. So I put 1.5 cups in there. Well, you put your chicken and your Knorr in there, or whatever it is you're doing. You get your water boiling, dump your boiling water in there, stir it up, and then you put it in the cozy. I put it in there for 20 minutes, and it's pretty well done. I'm going to let it cool off a little bit. But what I realized is I forgot to add my butter. So I'm going to put my butter in there and then just kind of let it sit and cool off a little bit. I just got a little pat of butter here that I brought from home. Looks like I've had my dirty fingers in it. So I'm just going to throw it in there. It's still pretty smoking hot, so I'm just going to zip it back up and let it cool a little bit. And probably let it go I'll probably just let it sit another 5 or 10 minutes. It's really too hot to eat right now, and I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, it's time to give it a go. I know it's going to be good because I've had it before. The other thing that's easy, that's pretty good, is the ramen bomb, where you take do the same thing but with ramen noodles and instant potatoes. But that's really heavy. That can be a really heavy meal. And well, this can be too. And look, that's quite a bit of food, but calorie-wise, it's not that much. It's like the whole packet is 260 calories a serving. There's 2.5 servings, so that's 520 and 130 be 650 calories in that whole thing. And then Another 70 calories of chicken. So calorie wise it's not a whole lot, but bulk wise it's quite a bit of food for one person. Very good. I might put a little bit of salt and pepper in there, but yep. Sit here and eat this, and probably make myself a cup of coffee. Have a little fire going. Book, good book. And looks like the sun's getting ready to go down over the hill. I may have to go get some more firewood, I don't know. I thought I had enough to get me through, but after the time change it probably doesn't get dark till about 8 or 8:30, so I might just burn up what I got and maybe go turn in. So we'll see. Later. Good morning. So I'm getting ready to fix some breakfast. The sun is just now coming up over the hills. It's 8:40 a.m. on the 12th. So I'm going to try something I haven't done in quite a few years. I'm going to make some pancakes. And used to, would go to the store and buy the little, you can get them in a little carton that's got the the pancake mix in there, and it tells you how much water to put in there, and you shake it up and then you pour your pancakes. Well, I decided to just try to use the pancake mix from home out of the box. So I measured out some, figured out how much water I would need, 1/3 of a cup. I've got some maple syrup, which I'm glad I double bagged that because it looked like it leaked. I got some butter to cook them on in. And I have this little skillet, a little non-stick skillet, that I actually cut this down from a pot. It was a non-stick pot, and I had 2 of them, so I thought it'd be kind of cool to have a skillet. And I did this, I don't know, probably 5 to 10 years ago, but I've never used it for anything. So I thought, well, this time I'm going to come out and try to make some pancakes. I got my little pot grabbers here. So we're going to see how it goes. I have absolutely no idea how this is going to turn out. I'm already making a mess. So I'm going to get this mixed up and get my skillet warmed up, and we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I have no idea how this is going to go. Could be epic. It could be an epic failure. So I got the batter about where it looks pretty good to me. Looks about right. Instead of opening the end of this thing, instead of opening up the bag up here at the top and trying to pour it out, I think I'm going to cut the corner off here and use it like a squeeze bag, like they use to decorate cakes with. Usually when I try something like this, I just wind up with a humongous mess. All right. I guess my biggest concern is there's going to be a hot spot right in the middle of the skillet, and I'm just going to burn the crap out of them. Move this over here. Fire's getting kind of hot. Woo. Skillet's hot. Turn that down a little bit. Might have gotten a little thick. Yeah, I don't know if I want to stick that in there or not. Yeah, who said they had to look pretty? Look a little lumpy. I doing it here so because I had a log to stick the camera on that I could get a good shot. Man, that fire's about eating me alive here. My leg is on fire. So one more time. A little lumpy, but I would say that's a reasonable facsimile of a pancake. Might use a little more butter this time. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try to squeeze the rest of that out. Okay, there we have it. The second one turned out a little more like a pancake than the first one, but I mean, they all taste the same. We have done pancakes on the trail before without a non-stick skillet, and they stick, and you just wind up having scrambled pancakes, which are pretty good too because you get all the crusties. You get a lot more crusties. So I think the skillet was definitely a win, the skillet, and the pancake mix in the baggie was not. That kind of made a mess, and you can't, it's hard to get all the batter out, and you can wind up getting it all over your fingers. And also the I had a little 3 by 4 inch Ziploc bag that was full of the syrup, the maple syrup. That didn't work out well because it leaked out and it got syrup all over the bag, and I couldn't get the bag open because it just got those little teeny tiny lips on them. So what you really need for that is one of the little bottles you can get. It's got the little flip spout on it. I thought I had one at home, but I couldn't find it. But other than that, I'd definitely do the pancakes again, and I'd probably find some other things to cook with the skillet. Maybe like Spam, the Spam by the slice. So just going to sit here and enjoy the pancakes and the fire, and the sun's coming up now. It's going to warm up a little bit. It's supposed to be back to 70 today, and have a cup of coffee. And my stuff is packed up. The tent, I still have to take the tent down, but everything in there is packed up, all my bedding. So just going to enjoy the morning, and we'll see you on the trail. Just turned the camera off before I even taste tested them. Man, they were good, really good. Got the nice, the perfect amount of kind of crunch around the edges. And so with the maple syrup all mixed in there, it's pretty nice, pretty good. Yeah, I'd definitely say this is a repeat. But just learn how, just need to learn how to do it in a little cleaner fashion. So later. Anyway, we're ready to go. It is about 11 o'clock, and probably not going to be stopping and fiddling with the camera and the GPS and the phone too much on the way back. I think I may take that the rock shelter trail, which is it's going to be a little bit longer hike getting back to the car, but I've never been down that trail there where those rock overhangs are. So carry on. See the red house ahead, the red cabin that we passed yesterday. I'll tell you what, this part of the trail that skirts around that private property, it goes up and down these valleys, switchbacks and everything. It's pretty rugged. It's kind of taking it out of me. I think I'm going to forget about the shelter, rock shelter trail today. From that sign, the rock shelter sign, back to the car, if I go back the way I came yesterday, it's about a mile. If we take the rock shelter trail and loop, it goes back south, which is the direction I'm coming from. It loops back south a ways and then turns and goes back north and goes down through that canyon and winds up back up there at Low Gap Road at that parking area that I started to walk over to yesterday. And I'll tell you what, this section of the trail, it's been pretty rough, and so I think I'm just gonna head on back to the car from here. I'm hoping this comes up to that road eventually, because I don't ever remember seeing a sign to get off the road yesterday. The old abandoned road. And now this. We'll have to say the weather's been really nice today. I think it's supposed to get up around 70, but pretty hot hiking out there in the sun. Because, like I said yesterday, you don't have any tree cover. Last night I slept pretty warm. I had my sleeping bag liner and my 40-degree mummy bag. And then I had another, like what they call a sport throw or outdoor throw that I bought at Costco. You know, it's pretty warm. Not too warm, but warm enough. I probably didn't get to sleep till, I don't know, I think I saw 1 o'clock. Because I went to bed about 9:30, but we're only 3 days past the time change. So really, I went to bed, and my body, you know, as far as my body was concerned, it was 8:30. But I'd get just about to doze off, and then I'd hear kind of a weird noise, and then I'd come awake, and then I wasn't sure, okay, was that a real noise, or was that a noise I was just kind of slipping into my dreams, into a dream. Of course, once I woke up, I never heard anything. But the moon, it was nearly a full moon, so the tent was pretty illuminated most of the night. But I finally did get some pretty good sleep. I got up about 8. But it's just really nice. I was looking for an opportunity to get out in some decent weather and spend the night, so that's what we did. So anyway, we'll see you back at the car. Alright, looks like we have arrived. It was about a half mile from when I had lunch. About 20 minutes maybe. So, it's been a good trip. And I'm ready to head home. It's, let's see, how many miles? I think it was 4 when I went down there yesterday. 4 miles to the, it says 4.5. Coming back, that would be, so it, all those, that other side winding road added a half a mile more, give or take. Yeah, if I can just find my keys. Alright, it's a wrap.